Welcome to the PopCulture Effect. I'm Rockin Rob, and on this show, I bring my closest friends together to talk about all the news happening in our pop culture world around us. Well, welcome one and all to another episode of the PopCulture Effect. I am here with my good friend Menace.
Hello, everybody left. Everybody ditched us.
Yeah, it's
Nobody
well,
plays this game.
yeah, I don't really blame them though, because at least for the context of this episode, we're going to be talking about Hollow Knight Silksong, the smash hit that came out of Team Cherry. Is that the developer's name?
Yep.
Okay, at least I got
Yep.
that right. But yeah, this game has been pretty great. I am definitely one that values the gameplay more than the story, and I know you have a little bit more context when it comes to like the story. So for at least the people that have never played the Hollow Knight, why don't you give everybody a little bit of a rundown?
Yes, a quick rundown. This is the sequel to Hollow Knight, and Hollow Knight was this game where you played as this little bug guy. You play in a bug world,
Little
and
Buggins.
you're just called the knight, and you had to free the world of Deep Nest from this curse and god being called the Radiance. It's essentially like little bug takes on god bugs. You got to build up powers. It's a RPG open adventure game where you're finding secrets and opening the world. It's got like multiple endings based on the secrets that you find and stuff like that. But essentially, through the game, you meet another person who we find out later in Hollow Knight, which is the knight that you play as a sister, Hornet. Hollow Knight Silksong takes place sometime later. It's from what it seems to be is years and years and years later. And you are playing as Hornet, journeying back to the homeland of the spiders because she is half spider, I guess you could say. She was journeying and got captured and brought back to this land called Farloom, which we heard of a little bit in Hollow Knight 1. As she gets there, there are these silk threads that attack her and just start taking over these pilgrims because Farloom is like this very religious area, this very religious kingdom, I guess you could say.
I guess you could
The
say it's very faith based.
Yeah. How it kind of works is you start at the bottom in Bone Bottom because you fall and you need to work your way up to the Citadel. Along your way, there are pilgrims making a pilgrimage from the very bottom up to the top to see the Holy Land of this Citadel, whatever that may be. I won't get into everything due to spoilers because I still want you to play the game, but you are essentially you lost your powers due to the seals that were on the cage, and you need to regain more power and more abilities to fight your way up to the Citadel, explore and find secret areas again, and figure out what's taking over your old homeland.
And when you say secrets, like for those that didn't play Hollow Knight, it was kind of chock full of secrets because, like, at least gameplay wise, it takes a lot of inspiration from like games like Castlevania and Metroid. With this game, I feel like there's just like I don't want to say it as a bad thing, but there's just way too many like side areas and secrets. I think we talked about this off recording, but you could beat the first act in like what 4 boss fights
Yeah, for 3, 4 boss fights.
across
If
like
you
what
just
3 areas.
rush 4 or 5, but you can
Mm-hmm.
essentially beat the game just by going through like 6 or 7 different areas and miss half of the, or not even
I'd say
half,
more
more
than
like
half.
yeah, like 2/3 of the map you'll miss if you just speed run the story itself.
And like from a speedrunner, I do that shit all the time, but even I'm finding myself looking through all the nooks and crannies. But like the fact that you and I have had like completely different playthroughs through this game is kind of cool for me at
Yet
least
still be at
because
like the same pace in the story.
yeah, but like our progression through the game has been different because you've been more scouring the map. I've been more focusing on the main story and then going back for the side content.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like it really is a game you could kind of just like play anyway. Like you said, you could either speed run it, you could take your time with it, you can go with no items, all items. It'll be a
Yeah,
bitch and a half to get through, but
my one of my favorite things is like if you do go for all the side content, you will get a different ending. Or like if you just have some arbitrary item that you think is worthless and you just keep it on your inventory, sometimes that can cause you to have a different ending. What is it? There is one item in the game where essentially you can get these things called crest. They switch up your base attack pattern in the game. So Normally you have like a side slash, a down slash, an up slash. Depending on which crest you're wearing, it'll actually change how like the different moves you do to where like Hornet's normal attack, normal down attack, she will dash diagonally in a direction. But say you get something like one of them is called the Reaper's Crest, which is honestly, I think it's both of our favorites.
Yeah, because, like, I don't know, man. None of the other ones are, like, they're fun and they could probably be good in some situations, but, like, I don't know, man. The reach extension on the Reaper and it just kind of makes it a lot better than even the one you get that represents the previous Hollow Knight game, you know?
Yeah, there are some I should say that we haven't found yet. I think at this point, Bobbert and I are somewhere like mid to end of Act 2, somewhere around there.
Yeah, around that.
And there's still like 2 or 3 crests that we haven't found, but to get back to what I was saying before, there's a crest that you can get which is like considered cursed, and if you have another special item on you, when you finish the game, you will get a completely different ending than if you just completed the game with that same item, but not that cursed crest equipped.
And you wonder why people online are like, man, this game is both hard and frustrating to get 100% completion on.
Well, that's even with Hollow Knight, you technically couldn't get well, for some reason these games like to fuck with people and let you go over 100%.
Oh, yeah,
Hollow
that's
Knight's
classic.
max percentage.
I can't
Yeah, Hollow
remember the
Knight's
other
max.
games that had it, but there were other games that went beyond 100%. But yeah, this one, what was it,
Oh yeah.
112 for the first game?
Yeah, 112 for Hollow Knight was the max percentage. I'm guessing it's going to go over because I won't spoil how to get it, but the entirety of Act 3 is a secret unlock in this game. And that is something that blows my mind that you can miss an entire section of the game if you just don't get the secret.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it. But I actually had kind of an unpopular opinion, just to briefly go back to the crest thing, because after playing through this game and hearing other opinions and shit online and looking at the crest system, I'm not 100% a fan of it. I like that you get different abilities, but having that directly tied to your equipment as well, I don't know, I feel like it was a weird situation because, like, in the previous Hollow Knight game, you just had one row where you can add all of your abilities to, whereas for these crests, you have a very limited amount of abilities you can add to. Like, there's not
Well,
like, there are expansions you can add to it, but it's a limited
I can
expansion.
Well, I can see why people like it and don't like it. I like it more because it makes you think more on what build you want to do. Like you said, you had one attack pattern or one type of basic attacks in Hollow Knight 1, and then you had a row of charms that you could get. In this one, they've kind of more organized it. Instead of everything just being a charm, you have you have your special moves like your silk moves. You have your tools, which are like weapons or other support items that you can get. You have your support charms, which let you heal faster, help you negate a form of damage, like you can take reduced damage from lava. And then they have your like combat and exploration charms, where you can like see yourself on the compass, gain more shells. There's another currency in this game called rosaries, which is like rosary beads. There's a charm that lets you not lose all of them because just like in Hollow Knight, when you die, or in other games like Dark Souls or whatever, when you die, all of your items, well, all of your money, I guess you could say, is left in Hollow Knight. It was a little ghost, and in this, it's a silk cocoon because spider.
Are we going to talk about the fact that both of us have struggled becoming absolutely broke as fuck by losing all of our beads constantly in this game?
I haven't tallied mine up, but I have easily lost over 100,000 rosary beads, if not more than that.
Which is ridiculous. Like, they have a system in this game where you can reclaim it. Like the little, like, worm munchkins you can get as items
Oh,
through, like,
yeah,
side quests and other stuff.
you
But,
can get
like,
little, they're called spider, or they're little spiderlings. They're called silk eaters, and yeah, it's a way to collect your cocoon without actually having to go back and hit it. You
But even
use
when
the
you
item in
have
your
it,
inventory and you just get it all back.
yeah, but like go like obviously people who are playing this game will want to avoid using it if they can. And this game sometimes makes reclaiming your shit just very frustrating with like the difficulty, cuz like this game is, I'd say, about twice as hard as the original Hollow Knight. I don't know if that's like a full accurate understanding of it, but like this game's hard, from the enemies, from the fact that like 65% of them do double damage, so much so
I
that
will
literally
well,
Steam communities made a
yeah, but
mod to adjust it.
bosses in Hollow Knight did that too. They did
I
2
get
damage
that, but
compared to the
like
1
some of the
damage.
mini bosses
But
and other enemies doing that, I'm like, what the hell is going on?
oh yeah, I completely understand. I will say I've 100 and something percented Hollow Knight 1. I'm trying to go for 100 or over 100% on Silksong. And I will say from a fighting perspective, it's a lot easier, or sorry, it's a lot harder. From the other major thing of the Hollow Knight games is uh traversing the world and getting like new movement abilities and stuff to unlock secrets where you couldn't normally get to
Well, yeah, because
from
when you see a
a
thing you can't access, you need a new ability.
yeah, or you need to cheese it with like hitting an enemy and bouncing on top of their head. I think from a transversal perspective, it's a lot easier in this game. You get so many like cool abilities with Hornet, like the grapple where you throw your needle out and then you pull yourself to it in midair. She
Which is
gets
something I'm
a
still stuck on in this moment right now as we're recording.
she gets a float cloak, which is something you never really got in Hollow Knight to like stop yourself from falling slower. You got like double jumps, but you also get double jumps in this too. So it's nice to kind of like have that stop. I can't even count the amount of times where I would like have to fall down far in Hollow Knight and then be like, okay, I need to save my double jump for the very last second, and then something hits me on the way down, and or something gets in my way, and I have to use it, and I'm like, well,
Yeah, the airflow does make it a little bit easier, but I do think there's a limited amount of time where you can like activate it, deactivate it to do like a flutter. I think you only get like three
oh
or
no,
four.
I've been doing it consistently.
Oh, maybe I just didn't have enough space to do it. But either way,
It
like
could
you
be
said,
the
like
time between your presses and it just didn't register it or something like that.
probably. But like my point is that I feel like a lot of the time with these sequel games, it feels like, oh, the generic quote is, oh, it's an evolution. But this literally does feel like it has taken every single aspect of Hollow Knight, made it a little bit better, made it a little bit more difficult. And as the memes on Twitter go, to play this game, you kind of got to get good.
Get good.
Oh
That
man.
is a For those that don't know, that is a line that Hornet says in Hollow Knight 1 is get good to the knight during the final fight. She says that to you.
Well, yeah, get good. But like, at least from a story perspective, I don't think we know that much because we've gotten to the Citadel, but we haven't really explored. Like, you've explored it, I haven't, but we haven't gotten to the next
I
like stage of the story.
I know why, like, so technically we have both gotten to a part where we should know how and why everything is going on.
But we don't.
Um, I mean, you don't, I do.
Well, yeah, true, true,
Uh,
true, true.
I don't want to say too much due to spoilers, but for those that have played Hollow Knight 1, there was a whole thing about hollowness or deepness being eternal, being this eternal kingdom, always living forever because the White King or the worm gave sentience to the bugs and like he was supposed to live forever and create the perfect vessel, blah blah blah. It seems like through some sort of experimentation that I won't get into, Farloom has been able to actually make an eternal kingdom, but in this weird haunted way almost that yeah, it lives forever, but not in the glorious like way that you would think for a kingdom. That's like the best way I could put it without giving anything away.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. But I think there is something we can at least speculate on, and that's DLC. Because at least in the original Hollow Knight, there wasn't really like a story expansion DLC as there
Yeah, there was.
was. Oh, there was.
There was a Hornet DLC that led to the beginning of
No,
this.
wait, was there more than one DLC for Hollow Knight?
Yes.
Oh my god, I only thought there was one. Okay, I'm learning new stuff today. No, but my point is, what would you like to see from a DLC for this game? Because I would love to see like a boss rush or just like an endless horde mode.
I'm sure they're gonna do something because there was something like that in Hollow Knight 1 that actually had story relevance when they came in, and they're, like, called the God Slayers or something like that, and they look for higher beings to kinda, like, go and, kill or worship, something like that, I can't remember exactly. And those were those mummy guys that you were talking about where they did the boss rush in Hollow Knight 1.
Yeah, like I said, it'd be cool to see a boss rush. I would like to see them do something similar to what they did, like you were saying for Hollow Knight 1, where they do a DLC that kind of teases the next game, and I hope that there's a third game, maybe, knock on wood.
I would have to see the quote unquote true ending of this game to see how I feel about it. Cause like there's a lot that we haven't even gotten to. Like we were kind of talking off camera that to kind of explain a little bit more. The knight in Hollow Knight 1 was made essentially from he was a sacrificed child thrown into what a place slash entity called the Void and kind of sacrificed by the Pale King to become like the perfect vessel to hold this god that he was trying to stop. So the reason why like you see those little void ghosts in Hollow Knight 1, or you see like when you die, you have a little ghost that you need to get your stuff back. That's because you are like reborn from the void. And it shows in like the quote unquote true ending for Hollow Knight 1 where you actually fight the Radiants, the void entity of the Hollow Knight appears, the Knight breaks out of his shell, becomes his void entity form, and then the actual literal void entity that lives in the void comes up and drags the Radiants down into it.
I have no idea what
And
you just like. I don't have the context to think what you're saying, but that sounds fucking awesome.
it's essentially Light God versus Darkness God fighting each other for the ending cutscene.
I really have to go back and like fully complete Hollow Knight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so if we're exploring the void, because to my knowledge, Hornet doesn't have any connection to the void that I know of.
No.
So whatever she's needing to do with the void is unbeknown or unknown to me. So I'm actually very interested in getting to the quote unquote true ending of this game.
Yeah, we're probably gonna immediately start playing it after we end this recording. But I have a theory that that adorable bug on a bug that we've seen a couple times through the game is gonna be the new main protagonist of the third game.
You talk about Sherma?
Hell yeah, I'm talking about Sherma.
I could see more of maybe Chakra. And I guess since we're kind of bringing it
No,
up,
you're so right. Oh my
I
god.
did I did kind of want to get into the NPCs because one of the major things of the Hollow Knight franchise is their adorable and cool NPCs that you can meet. So, like we said, we have Chakra, who not only is this badass mantis warrior, some people say she's a wasp, some people say she's a mantis. She has kind of the same design as the mantises from Hollow Knight 1, so I'm kind of going with the whole mantis vibe. She is a warrior and she's also our map maker. Cartography is a very big thing in her tribe. So we will be traveling and randomly through the caverns and tunnels of Farloom, you can hear her singing.
Become a meme
Ooh,
on
Skado.
Jesus. Yeah, it's kind of become a meme a little bit.
It's so
Uh
good.
it's a
But
nice little bit of calm in this kind of it's just so there's so much shit in this game that hurts.
it's through all the fighting and jumping over spikes and like running for your life from all the bugs and stuff like that. And then you just hear her singing through the cat. It's just a sense of peace. It just hits me. And I'm just like, oh God, a friendly face. Thank you.
There's also a traveling bug. Uh, I don't even know if they're a circus, but they're just kind of like a traveling group of people, and I love
Oh, they're a
them because
caravan.
they're all yeah, they're a caravan, and they're all adorable. But one of them is goddamn peeping Tom.
They're okay. Uh, so yeah, there's the flea caravan that you're talking about with the
Mm.
flea master, a couple of his friends, and then later on you meet a flea, the one that he just mentioned, called Krat, who owns a spa. For some
Which
reason,
great, you get to have a full heal where you get to heal your thread and your health.
oh yeah, but for some reason people just are really into Hornet. Like, there's
Yeah,
3 people that Hornet just straight up needs to slap because they are getting handsy with her.
Hey man, if you saw somebody completely different to you, you'd be like, wow, that person's amazing.
But it's not even like that. She's like what is it? Krat just thinks she looks pretty. New, which is another character, you get like an encyclopedia of the different bugs you've killed, and you got to complete a quest for him. He's so interested in like he eats the dead bugs that we find. Like you can see him going to different bosses after we kill them, and if you go back to the rooms, he will be there and he'll be like, "Oh, these juices taste delicious.
Wait,
This must have been a strong opponent." Blah 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 blah. Yeah, he
I thought it
eats
was
the
all
things.
metaphorical. I thought he was a
Oh no,
scavenger.
no, because when you meet him again after you beat the 100 different monsters you have to beat for his quest, you see him and he talks to you and he's like, "Oh, you're covered in juices, aren't you? Let me have a taste." And he starts walking to you and Hornet fucking slaps him. Just like with the peeping Tom, when he's peeping on you in the spa, you can jump and swing up and you'll actually smack him in the face. And because you smacked him in the face, you no longer have to pay to use his spa.
I now have a new understanding of every single time I've seen New in this game. I thought he was an adorable little slug just studying animals. Nope. No, he's devouring them.
Well, that's another thing that slugs do is they break down dead stuff, and then there's one more called Gribble the Thief, who after you little spoiler, you can get locked in prison in this game, completely random.
Oh yeah.
But when you meet Gribble in prison, you meet him a couple times beforehand. He asks if you have any goodies on you. Your cloak has been stolen. You're essentially naked. Your cloak is stolen. You don't have your weapon. You're searching around for it. And then he sees you and he's like, "Oh, I wonder if you got any goodies on you." And when you turn away from him, he starts walking towards you. And if you turn back, Hornet will smack him. It's become a meme in the community that, like, Hornet smacking people is her putting a restraining order on them because as soon as she does it once, they start listening.
Hey, when there's no legal system put in place, you got to put your own legal system in place.
But yeah, I don't really know much else.
Yeah, we're kind
um,
of at a stage where like we are the creators that don't have the opportunity to spend like an entire course of our
early
life playing through
access
every.
or
Yeah. So we're going through this at the same pace as probably a lot of people listening. So we probably still got quite a bit of a job to go through to get through the full game. So I'm at least
but
excited that we have a little bit more to go through.
yes, I do want to say though, since you did bring up people buying it and coming out, and it when it came
Oh
out,
yeah.
we had to cover this and kind of give it its own episode specifically for this reason, because I haven't seen a game do this in years, if at all. When Hollow Knight Silksong was such a waited for game that when it released on September 4th, it caused outages on the Steam store, PlayStation Store, Xbox Store, and the Nintendo eShop. 3 out of the 4, Xbox is the only one to stay up, literally crashed because of this game.
I mean, hey, when you've been waiting, what has it been? It's been a decade since the first game. Yeah, 2017. Oh my god, it's literally been 8 years. No wonder people broke every single game store, just a virtual game store. They're not they're not breaking into buildings. I want to be clear there. But no, I don't know, man. With this type of stuff, I love when games are just able, when an indie game, no less, is able to make this kind of an impact for $30. You know, it's great.
The whole thing with its $30 price tag is because it's an indie game.
Yeah, no,
It's not like,
that's what I'm saying. We get such a good quality game that breaks the internet literally for only $30.
oh yeah, but like we were kind of talking before this, it's not like there are still some, I won't say that there aren't, but a lot of game companies have kind of stepped it up since I want to say since Baldur's Gate really came out and showed everybody, hey, you can make a AAA game that's not half made that is good for its pricing. And a lot of
Novel
companies,
thing
not
that
all,
is.
but a good portion of companies were like, "Oh shit, they kind of set the bar. If we don't deliver, people aren't going to play our games anymore."
And that was kind of shown in a couple flops of games that had to build themselves back up. Cough, cough, Cyberpunk.
Yeah, well, Cyberpunk was before Baldur's Gate. That's what the year leading up to the Baldur's Gate like big change was Cyberpunk. It was either Vanguard or Cold War during that time. I can't remember which one. You had Halo Infinite, and there was another one I can't remember. It was a bunch of half-baked games.
Yeah, and I was mistaken.
But
Cyberpunk and even their paid expansion was before Baldur's Gate. But that's all I got for Silksong. How about you?
yeah, no, I'm excited to play more of it. I will be trying to get everything as much as I can, and if not, it will be New Gaming Plus just to get the final ending because I do want to see that.
I mean, I don't know if I'll new game plus it, but I'll definitely go for like a full 100%, whatever the 120, 130, whatever they put set as the maximum, I'll try to reach. But if I can at least get to 100, I'll be happy.
That's fair.
But yeah, that's pretty much everything we have to talk about for Hollow Knight Silksong. And just like using the time stone, I have to come back around to fix what past Bobbert broke, and that's the fact that our outro got deleted. So, obviously, as I was saying, I am close to attaining the Infinity Gauntlet of content now that I am one step closer to having one on one episodes with all of my lovely friends. But since this is the end of the episode, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And for those of you that are checking us out on the CJSW network, make sure to check out all the lovely content they have to offer. But that's pretty much everything me and Menace have to discuss when it comes to Hollow Knight. So we shall see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye!